there's been a bit of feedback, which is great. And one thing that people said was that unless they knew what they were looking at, it was difficult to know what they were looking at. And I think I need to therefore do a little bit more context in terms of what I'm showing, and that made me think about who I'm making this for and why. And I was originally making it for me, and now I think that if I make it for my grandsons, that should allow me to put a bit more explanation in, and I hope that's helpful to everybody else. The other question that I was being asked over the last couple of weeks is, why this boat? Why pick a 50-year-old boat? And I think there are three reasons. It was quite a complicated decision, but fundamentally it came down to three things. I learned to teach on these sorts of boats in the mid-1980s, and I enjoyed doing that very much, and I want to go back to doing that. At the Contessa 32, you won't find anybody who doesn't describe them as a lovely looking boat. They've got some downsides, but they're a lovely looking boat. And the other one is, with over 700 boats built, there is a big community around them, which I think, from what I can see, both on their Facebook page and their association pages, looks like a good community to belong to, and I'm aspiring to be a part of that. On the downside, of course, they're very expensive, although that might be an upside one day. This week is all about the progress on the mast step, and ideally, with a bit more context, you'll enjoy it very much. So we've been talking about the mast step, and there are two choices, deck stepped or keel stepped. Now we're keel stepped, so it has to go all the way down to the bottom of the boat, and then it needs to be strong, so we put a very strong piece of wood and glass in there. It's probably worth explaining a little bit more about the step. That is the metal ridge that sits on the top of the step, and this is the original step. You can see a little bit of the fiberglass that was there, and you can see just a tiny bit of discoloration, but deep down it was in pretty good nick. So we've replaced it when maybe it didn't need to be, but it was going to be a lot cheaper and easier to do it now than later. So arrived down the boat, another Friday, and the new work all been rubbed down, and this has been gel washed, which makes it very easy to clean downstream, but it's exceptionally slippy at the moment, so I'm having to watch my step. Talking about the step, there is the mast step, and that'll be going in today, and the bit that I was scrubbing out and sanding last week is in there, and that all looks fabulous. So the first step is to put the teak in, and that is currently sitting on a bed of bonding paste, which will bond it to the hull. Next step, glass. So what's happened now is that some fiberglass has been mixed with resin, and that has been put around the teak, and we're going to wait for that to harden off. So the teak was in with a whole pile of chopped glass. What's happened now is, with a pre-mix, that has been filleted in. Just made a little tool for getting the curve right. That will allow the laminate to then be tabbed in. So this has moved on today. So that is a patch of laminate sitting in a bed of resin, and that will get gently built up probably tomorrow, or rather the next working day. So my job for today is going to be grinding out, sanding down the anchor locker here. So the guys removed the anchor last night, and I've got to get that into a good condition such that it can be coated over. Well, it's taken a distressingly long time, but that is looking a lot neater and tidier. In other news, the anchor is out, and I was also given the job of sanding the tiller, which should take me a fair bit of time, but it looks like a very therapeutic job to do, and I'm looking forward to getting on with that. So in summary, things on the boat seem to be progressing well, and I'm really pleased to be involved. The guys are showing me a great deal of patience, and they've managed to sort jobs into boring jobs that I start and don't finish, and interesting jobs that I just carry on with, which is good of them. In the background as well, there's been conversations with various suppliers, and I mentioned this in the last episode. We're getting every decision that we make leads to another decision that needs to be made a little bit further on. So we're working on making sure that the mast and the sails work together in the way that we want them to work. In other procurement news, I tried to get hold of a Simpson and Lawrence Gypsy and windlass on eBay. Looked like a good price for a nice, good condition piece of equipment. It would have saved me about 10 times the money if I'd got it, but I didn't get it, so I'm on the hunt for one of those. All in all, things are going well, and I still remain very pleased with progress.